The master left, but he didn't say when he'd be back. Two servants stayed behind. One worked faithfully, managing the house with care. The other said, "My master is delayed." And he began to abuse his power. Then one day, the master returned, and everything was revealed. Every heart tells a story of stewardship, what we do when we think no one is watching. The parable of the faithful and wicked servant, found in Matthew 24 verses 45 to 51 and Luke 12 verses 42 to 48, asks one piercing question: what kind of servant are you when the master seems silent? Let's read Jesus' words. Who then is the faithful and wise servant, whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household to give them their food at the proper time? It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. Truly I tell you, he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But suppose that servant is wicked and says to himself, "My master is staying away a long time." And he then begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with drunkards. The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he is not aware of. He will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. This parable confronts families on how we treat each other when life feels unfair or unnoticed. Leaders on how they steward influence when accountability feels distant. Youth on how they live when the crowd isn't watching. A wealthy landowner prepared for a long journey. Before leaving, he gathered his servants in the courtyard. The air was still. The evening sun painted gold across the stone walls. He turned to one of his trusted stewards, Elias. "You know the rhythms of my household," he said. "You know how I like things done. While I'm gone, keep order. Feed the others on time. Manage the supplies. When I return, I'll reward your faithfulness." Elias bowed deeply. "It will be done, my master." And then the master was gone. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and the whispers began. "Do you think he's coming back?" one servant asked. "Maybe not," another said. "Elias seems in charge now." Elias smiled, but not kindly. At first, he stayed diligent. He distributed food, maintained records, ensured the lamps burned at night. But as time passed, something shifted. Each day that the master delayed, Elias grew bolder and darker. He began to take the best food for himself. He drank the master's wine. He mocked the others, striking those who questioned him. "You'll eat when I say you eat," he sneered. The house that once echoed with order now trembled with fear. Then one evening, the sky turned red with sunset. Footsteps sounded at the gate. The master had returned. He entered the courtyard quietly and saw everything: the servants' frightened faces, the disorder, the arrogance on Elias's lips. "Elias," he said softly, "what have you done?" The steward froze. In a moment, his confidence crumbled into terror. The master's face was not angry, it was wounded. "You were trusted," he said. "You were given much, not to rule over others, but to serve them." And judgment fell. The faithful were restored. The unfaithful was removed forever. Jesus ended the story with a warning. To whom much is given, much will be required. Stewards in ancient estates. In 1st century, large households often had managers, Greek, oikonomos, who acted as middlemen between the master and other servants. Their word carried authority, but only under the master's will. The master's return. There were no phones, clocks, or calendars. No one knew when he'd return, meaning readiness was the steward's constant duty. The punishment, the imagery of being cut in pieces, symbolized severe judgment, divine justice against hypocrisy. It meant total exclusion from the master's household, or spiritually, separation from God's presence. This parable isn't about power, it's about faithfulness under silence. Jesus contrasts two servants: the faithful servant, who stays devoted in the delay; the wicked servant, who mistakes delay for abandonment. The master's absence represents the time between Christ's ascension and his return. The stewardship represents the life, gifts, and responsibilities God gives to each believer. The return represents judgment, the moment of accountability. First lessons. 1. Delay doesn't mean denial. The master's delay tested loyalty. When God seems slow, it's not abandonment, it's assessment. Faithfulness grows in waiting. 2. Faithfulness is measured in the ordinary. The faithful servant didn't perform miracles. He simply fed others at the proper time. God's greatest rewards often follow simple obedience done consistently. 3. Power without accountability corrupts. The wicked servant used authority to dominate, not to serve. When responsibility turns into entitlement, judgment is near. For judgment is certain and personal. The master didn't send a messenger, he came himself. Likewise, Jesus' return will expose not just deeds, but motives. 1. For families, every family has servants, those entrusted with care, leadership, or love. Parents, siblings, or partners. We're each responsible for how we treat those under our care. Faithfulness looks like patience, honesty, and humility when no one is applauding. Wickedness looks like control, neglect, or selfishness, the quiet abuse of trust. Families thrive when faithfulness is lived out daily, not just preached on Sundays. 2. For business leaders and professionals, every leader carries power, but also accountability. How do you treat people when no one's watching? Do you serve your team or use them for your comfort? Do you manage resources as if they're yours or God's? The faithful leader builds trust in silence. The wicked one builds ego and secrecy. Remember, your title is temporary. Your integrity is eternal. 3. For youth and young adults, you may not have a title yet, but you have responsibility over your choices, your time, your influence. Faithfulness means staying true when your generation chases shortcuts. It means being honest when cheating looks easier, praying when scrolling feels better, forgiving when revenge feels natural. Don't confuse the master's silence for absence. He sees, he's coming, and he rewards faithfulness. Second lessons. 1. Faithfulness begins in small things. Before God entrusts you with more, he watches how you handle the little. Integrity in the unnoticed moments builds authority in public ones. 2. Character is revealed in delay. The wicked servant's downfall wasn't one act, it was a slow drift. He didn't wake up evil, he became careless. Neglect grows in comfort. 3. Faithfulness rewards beyond measure. The faithful servant's reward was promotion. He will put him in charge of all his possessions. Faithfulness on earth leads to eternal stewardship in God's kingdom. 4. Wickedness ends in separation. The unfaithful servant's end wasn't just punishment, it was isolation. He had separated himself long before the master did. Imagine two managers left in charge of a company while the CEO travels abroad. The first works hard, treats staff with respect, keeps the mission alive. The second uses company funds for himself, lies about results, and mistreats employees. Months later, the CEO returns unannounced. The difference between the two becomes impossible to hide. That's this parable, a mirror for anyone who's been trusted with something sacred. You don't know when the inspection is coming, but the report is already being written by your daily decisions. Families, steward your home with grace, not dominance. Your influence is sacred. Leaders, rule as servants, not masters. Lead with love, not ego. Youth, live as if your future self were watching, because it will reflect what you do today. 1. Families, choose one act of hidden faithfulness this week. Kindness without credit, patience without praise. 2. Leaders, perform a private audit. Who in your care feels unseen or mistreated? Restore them. 3. Youth, write one sentence. If God came today, I'd want him to find me doing ... then live it. 4. Everyone, whisper this prayer daily. Lord, make me faithful when no one is watching. The parable of the faithful and wicked servant isn't about fear, it's about focus. The faithful servant lives with eternity in mind. The wicked servant lives as if today is all that matters. One finds joy in the master's return. The other meets judgment in his own reflection. God doesn't ask you to be perfect, he asks you to be persistent. Faithfulness isn't glamorous, but it's glorious. So feed others when it's inconvenient. Love when it's unnoticed. Serve when it's thankless. Because one day, the door will open and the master will return. And for those found faithful, he will say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." If this story reminded you to stay faithful when no one's watching, type in the comments, "Lord, help me be a faithful servant." Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who's growing weary in doing good, and subscribe to Bible Motion Pictures, where we bring the parables of Jesus to life through cinematic storytelling.